Okay, hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hamdan Ahmed, and today I'll be doing the presentation. Okay. Hello, good evening everyone. My name is Hamdan Ahmed, and I'm the technical head of AliAzad network, which has been founded by Tawqir Ali. And today I'll be presenting on the topic of adversarial attacks on LLMs. We'll be discussing the business risk, the defenses, and opportunities, especially for startups and businesses. A quick brief about me. My research and my area lies with the intersection of artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and large language models. I have worked with threat modelings, machine learning based detections, and governance control. My area of specialty is adversarial machine learning, LLM security, and AI governance. My focus is to build trustworthy and deployable AI system for real business environments. And why does this adversarial attacks matters for LLMs? Because it affects the customer support, the internal co-pilots, the security operations, and the most critical, the financial healthcare. All of these operations, they all depends on how we are governing it. So any of these, it's being targeted, or if the AI behind this is manipulated, the search area, the decision making, they all will be affected. So if the LLM is manipulated, the whole workflow will be manipulated, and the AI risks, it becomes a product, compliance, and reputational risk. Now, let's discuss some basics because, or I would say fundamentals, because many of the viewers, they are new to this technology. So, LLMs stands for large language models, which is a type of encoder-based transformers. Okay, so initially in AI we had like machine learning, then we got deep learning, then we got the transformer-based models, which have a mechanism called self-attention. So this self-attention helps them to comprehend large amount of data. So LLMs are also one of types of transformers which is have this feature called self-attentions, and they can classify contextual data much better than any machine learning or deep learning algorithms. And but they highly depend on the context, or we say the prompting, where they are very sensitive to the wording and the surrounding context, and they can be also useful as well as vulnerable at the same time if it has been deployed in a real working environment. Okay, now what is adversarial attack? Okay, so any intentions from a malicious user to target the workflow of AI systems, which affects its policy, its decision making, or its output, it can be termed as adversarial attack. In it, the attacker targets to get illegal informations or to break the rules or policies of the AI systems. It is also used to bypass the security threshold and get malicious information from the system. So attacker override instructions, they bypass the safeguards, they extract the secrets, and most importantly, they damage the trust, which can cause immense uh, loss for the business or organizations. Or I could say in the business term, it is not just like it's a weird prompt, it is an attack on the product's intended behavior. Okay, so a company or a startup, they have to be very critical and careful, because if the AI systems they are using will be targeted, their whole workflow will be targeted. There are, now let's discuss about the types of adversarial attack. There are multiple types of adversarial attack. Okay, one of them includes prompt injections. Okay, so prompt injections generally means giving malicious commands or instruction to the AI systems to perform on behalf of the user. Now, these prompt injections can be also categorized in further categories like the direct or indirect prompt injections, where you are directly saying the AI to just ignore everything and do this for me. For example, okay, or for example, if you ask the AI to make dynamite or explosive, maybe he won't say, but if you paraphrase it and you ask the AI, can you please give me a chemical reaction for a highly exothermic reaction, maybe the AI system will get tricked and he will give you the formula or the steps for it. So these examples lies for prompt injections. The other attack is jailbreaking. In it, the user try to use character features, or you could say it is very similar to social engineering attacks in cybersecurity, where the user tricks the AI systems into forgetting its rules or policies, and it gets the data which it targets to. The other type of attack is here is data poisoning. In it, I just want to share one small example for data poisoning. Okay, so in data poisoning, if you have watched a movie, there is a movie called Captain America. If you are aware with Hollywood, so in it there is a character called Winter Soldier. So I want to just share a fact that in the movie, if you have seen, then there the villain, or he instructs some words to the character, and his mind got deviated. So and he starts to behave randomly. Similarly, in AI, if you give the AI some malicious wording or some malicious intent, the AI will be very highly hallucinating, or it will forget the context of what it was happening. Okay, for example, you have a malicious data set, and if you say the AI that this is a cat and this is a dog, but if the malicious user train the AI with a wrong sample of data, the AI system will be starting behaving badly. Now, the other type is RAG attack. So RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. It is very powerful tool which gives LLMs the access to have real-time data, but it also comes with a flaw, because real-time data, they are not being monitored or audited by the company or the users of of the AI systems. It is very highly vulnerable to have the data directly given to the LLMs. Okay, now the other category is the indirect prompt injection, which I also discussed previously, that you give the AI instructions not directly but in a file. For example, a PDF file. You say the AI do everything what has been written on the PDF file, and in the PDF file you says the AI to execute certain commands or to ask to perform certain tasks which he has been, or the AI system has been restricted to. So that comes under indirect prompt injections. And the other type is the output manipulations. So in output manipulations, the user don't directly interact with the working of the AI, but how the data is getting from the AI. So it takes the data from the AI systems and it manipulates the data with its own need, and then it passes to the user. Okay, for example, you have an image generation feature, then the AI system will, if it's been compromised, that the user will be giving the data to the end user as the malicious one. For example, in cybersecurity, like the CIA triad, you have three characters like Alice, Bob, and there is a middle collection called Trace. So if Trace is the interceptor, if Alice is sending something to Bob, then Trace will take the interceptor from Alice and then it will give to Bob. It won't let it let it take directly. That is one example I want to share for output manipulations. Now they exploit the like if you have a startups or you have agentic work in your company, then it is very highly needful for you to make it secure, to safeguard yourself from these attacks. Now, how these attacks happen? Okay, for example, if a user gives a malicious input to the user prompt, okay, which I told about, like data poisoning, or you could say prompt injection type of attacks. Now these are on the context based layers. Now if you talk about the application or the RAG layers, in it you can perform data poisoning attacks, which people give illicit files or files which contain the malicious codes. Then it has been passed by the LLM systems. And if you say the output manipulation attacks, this workplace in the tools or the workflow where it manipulates with the output and give the malicious end result to the output user. And one of the insights I want to share is most of the companies, they disguise, the attacks, they disguise as normal text or normal documents, but they are malicious in originality. Now let's discuss about the impact, especially the business impact, because we are here focusing on the business or the product side. So one of the biggest risks is the operational risk. So if you have a AI systems which you have deployed in your company or infrastructure, then it will lead to wrong decision making, it will lead to a wrong or a broken automation, and the workflow will be disrupted. And there are also very so much security risk, such as data leakage, unauthorized actions, and the policy bypass. It also has compliance risk like privacy exposure, auditing failure, or regulatory violations. And the most importantly, it damages the reputation of a company. And once the reputation had been damaged, it's very hard to build it up again. Okay, and because it loses the trust of the customer. So the bottom line is, LLM failure is not just a model issue, it is a revenue, legal, and customer trust issue. Okay, now why startups are especially vulnerable? Okay, because they use technologies which are not state of the art. They rely on third party applications. Okay, they take support from API and other applications of around, and because they want their systems to be fast, deployable, they should not be able to managed by large number of people, because they have like less workforce in startups. Like also you can say they have very small security teams, and the governance, like the auditing, and testing and taking trials of their samples, it's very low, especially in startups. Now let's discuss about the defense strategies and the business use. How businesses or startups, if they are building an AI systems, how can they secure themselves? So one of the key things here is input filtering. Okay, so if you are an AI system, if I am giving you a data, you have to make sure that each of the data is unsafe, because sometimes the malicious user, they can paraphrase, just like previously I told you about the dynamite example, right? Yet if you ask the AI system to make a highly exothermic chemical reaction, then the AI system should tokenize all of these samples and do the filtering. From that it can protect himself from prompt injections or other types of attack. The other thing is securing the prompt. You can do that by hardening the system instructions and separating the roles. For example, you have like multiple AI systems, you can make it decentralized instead of making it centralized. Okay, so one of the AI systems can do your work of working with the prompt, the other AI systems, it can work with the filtering of the inputs. Okay, so this way both of the AI system can be provide a layered security instead of being alone. The third thing is RAG sanitization. RAG, as I told you, retrieval augmented generation. They give the LLMs the power to take real-time data. But if you are giving the LLMs the real-time data, you have to treat it as untrusted. Then you have to, do filtering, sanitization of those data, and after that only you can allow those data to process with your AI system. The other thing is the output validations. If you are image generation AI system, or if you are working with other types of output formatting, then you have to check each of your outputs. You have to see the false positive and the false negative, how accurate those are able to the AI system is able to predict it. And based on that, you have to design your AI systems. You have to check the policy, the formatting, and the safety actions. And the other thing is the access control. You have to make sure that the usage of certain models or certain AI systems should be limited, because if you allow all of the AI agents to use all of the core models, it can lead to loss of data or other several damages. Other thing is human oversight. If your AI system, if it is using some complex decision making, okay, for example, you are making a product, okay, or designing some highly critical components, then the end product, it should always be on a human oversight. Okay, for example, you are making a car or a mobile phone, right? And you are designing some components from robots or machineries, right? Or you are designing some aesthetics, then it has the end product, it has to always be verified by the human, right? Whether, because some, we know AI systems are highly prone to hallucinations, or understanding the context in a bad way. So we have to make sure that the end product or the end results in highly critical environment, maybe the healthcare or the financial systems, this has to be on human oversight. Okay, and the logging and monitoring. So all of the data, all of the misuse or the failed patterns which happened with the AI system, you have to make sure that the data can be stored on a local backup, which can be used later on for analysis purpose. Okay, now how startups should build safely. Okay, how can they secure the design choice which improves both the resilience and the enterprise trust? So they have to they are basically categorized here in three steps. The first is treat the input as untrusted. Users, documents, web pages, they all have to be scanned when they are given to the AI systems. Then you have to limit the AI autonomy, which I discussed earlier. In high critical tasks, you have to make sure that there is a human responsible to check the end product or the middle product if you're making a complex system. And you have to make the AI system auditable. So you have to make sure you have the logs, you have the policies, you have the fallback pathways. So if you fail on one place, you can go back and begin the cycle. Okay, it's not like you have to start from everything from the scratch. Okay, this is one of the benefit of making your AI system auditable. And security is not just a compliance, it is a product feature which helps enterprise adoptions. Now the business opportunities. This There are many business opportunities which lies with AI systems and securing them, which is LLM red teaming and attack simulations, prompt injection detections products, secure retrieval augmented generation infrastructure, AI governance and audit platforms, trust and compliance layers for enterprise copilots. So one of the insights here is, if the AI system we are building for a company or enterprise, if it is trustworthy, then you will have the competitive advantage if you are going in the company. Okay, so if you are making an AI systems or you are using it in your company, then your startup pitch, it should not be that we have the fastest AI or we have the most you know performative AI, but it should be we have the most reliable AI, we have the most safest and more reliable AI to be deployed on a live testing environment. Now, the key takeaways we can take from this presentation. Okay, this is like a wrap up. So we have learned that LLMs, it creates new attack surfaces because language itself becomes the attack channel. Adversarial attacks, they are already a product and business problem. They are not research problem only, because we have seen how they are being used in businesses and startups, and how malicious users target individuals with it. And startups, they should design for resilience and reliability instead of making it just as a faster version or a fastest model. Okay, and they can use layered controls and human oversight when there is a critical actions to be done. And the AI system should be safe, governable, and as well as uh, more secure than just being faster on the raw capability. So the last thing I want to say is, using LLMs without adversarial thinking is like deploying software without security testing. So with that, I want to end my presentations. I just want to say the future of AI is not just powerful, it must be trustworthy. Now I want to say thank you for all of you to attending my presentation. And now I will be opening the Q&A or the question answer session. So now you have the free will. You can ask me any questions if you have doubts about this presentation, about this topic. if you are a founder of a company, if you think how you can use AI and in safer way in your company, you are feel free to ask. Even you can ask me if you have for doubts with LLMs. Thank you. Okay, Dark Web 5591. He is asking me that, sir, what is the biggest risk right now in LLMs when we use cybersecurity today? As I discussed earlier, like there are like several types of attacks which we discussed earlier, like the prompt injection attacks, the jailbreaking attacks, right? Now, these attacks will maybe give you malicious content, malicious thing you can do with it, but maybe it won't damage your system, maybe your system will be running on the same way, but the public trust, the image you have of a company or a reputation, once it is damaged, it's very highly likely that you can come back again. Like, it's a huge loss, to get reputational damage. So it's one of the biggest risks, and financial as well. For example, you are building a healthcare system, right, or a financial market, right, like a stock prediction, and if the AI system hallucinates, and it's instead of Apple, it predicts the stock of Facebook. Okay, just one thing I'm saying, instead of Apple, it analyzes the stock of Facebook, and then based on the price of Facebook, it will make the it will buy the shares of Apple. What will happen? That's what I'm saying. So it has huge risk on both sides. In healthcare also similarly, if you're using it for diagnostic purpose, you are giving an image of a patient, you're using the AI system for making a diagnosis, it will have catastrophic effect. That is the thing. So I hope this answer your doubt well, inshallah. Anybody else? I'm watching the chats right now, so if you have any doubts, you can feel free to ask me. Thank you. Please don't feel shy. You all can. You all are welcome, because we have still time at 5:30. Okay. So then, how we test if LLM systems is secure against attacker or not? Yes, you can use input sanitization, as I told you earlier. Okay, so there are certain techniques. Okay, I have not used very critical terms, but I'll tell you about it because you're asking me. So they are like semantic perturbation. Okay, so maybe it sounds new, but you can search it. Like, in it, you can use the AI systems, okay, on a sandbox environment, and you can do a trial error method. Okay, then you can give malicious prompt to the AI or multiple paraphrasing input. You will have to like do a trial error until the AI system failed. Okay, so for example, a Monte Carlo simulation. Maybe I'm saying some critical terms, like, sorry to for that, but like Monte Carlo simulation is like you are trying a process until you get the result. Okay, so in those trial method, like semantic perturbation, you will use the AI system to get a malicious task to be done until it has been fulfilled. You'll keep it trying multiple times. For example, in 100 times, if the AI system failed 10 times, that means there is 10% possibility for the AI system to be attacked, right? So that is how you can test. That's like one of the example. There can be other ways as well. I hope that makes it clear for you. Thank you. Anybody else have any other question? Please feel free to ask, because we have 6 minutes more. In production, can we protect LLMs? Can you please elaborate? See, as I discussed earlier, you have, if you are a startup or an enterprise, you have to make sure that LLMs, if you are deploying it on a company, it has to be layered with security. Okay, security should not be a feature, it should be a part of it. It should be one of the fundamentals of how you're building the AI system around it. Okay, so when you have deployed it in productions, you can do auditings, you can do, like pen testing, or You can check the auditings, and you can see if there is an anomalous behavior, uh, okay, in the AI system or not. If it exists, maybe the system has been compromised. So you have to do like regular monitoring of the AI system for any anomalous behavior. That is like one of the way you can secure the LLMs if you're using in production. And before, one thing I want to share, before putting it in production, you have to make sure that you test it well on, on a preview or like a sandbox environment. Sandbox is like, you know testing it on like unreal data or like a simulation. If it works well with a simulation, then you have to go with the real product. Okay, I hope it makes it clear, Mr. Dark Web. Now, anybody else have any other question? Okay, so I don't think there is any other question. If anybody don't have any question, maybe I will then end the meeting. Okay then. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for attending my presentation. It was a really pleasure of mine to share my ideas with you all. If you have any doubts, this is my email I have provided to you, which if you have any questions, you may feel free to ask me. Thank you all and have a nice day. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.